My name is Kelly. I've been married to my husband for 2 years, and the newlywed life I've dreamed of has been blissfully happy, satisfied with each day spent cooking for and waiting for my husband. Unfortunately, we don't have children yet. That's because my husband said, "Don't we want to spend time just the two of us for a while, so isn't it okay to take it slow with kids?" But don't you want kids? Of course I do. If it's a child with Kelly, it's bound to be adorable. But you see, you only get to be newlyweds once. I want to cherish this precious time with you for as long as possible. That's how much I love you. Who wouldn't melt after being told something like that? I do want children soon, but since my husband wants to take it slow, I think that's fine too. Being so loved, it's unthinkable for my husband to cheat. That's what I believed. Who would have thought that such a belief would be shattered? It happened one evening, as usual, while we were enjoying dinner, and my husband had gone to take a bath. Unusually, he left his smartphone on the living room table, which he normally takes with him to the restroom. I noticed the smartphone but thought nothing of it, as forgetting it could happen to anyone. But then, the smartphone lit up. Who could it be? Without a doubt, I peeked at the screen, which displayed a woman's name. Someone from work, maybe? The screen kept lighting up, indicating an incoming call. If it's an emergency, I should let my husband know. Thinking so, I answered the phone. Then, I heard a woman's voice in agony. "The labor has started. Hurry to the hospital." Without waiting for my response, the call ended. Labor has started? Who? A wrong number? Since the name appeared on the screen, it's definitely registered in the contact list. Why tell me to come to the hospital? Why call my husband? Call your own husband. Gripping the smartphone, I started to agonize over the suspicions that came to mind, just when my husband came out of the bath. Seeing me glaring at the smartphone like a demon, he snatched it away from me. He seemed to pale. I glared at him for a few seconds. It felt like the longest few seconds of my life. "The labor has started, it seems." "What?" He stepped back a few steps, then immediately ran into the bedroom. Following him, I found him hurriedly changing. "What's going on? Why are you being called because the labor started? Answer me." "Sorry. I'll explain when I get back." With that, he rushed out of the house. Left alone, I sat down on the floor. Tears flowed at the unbelievable reality. I thought I was loved, but this was an unexpected betrayal. Telling me we could take our time with children, yet having a child with another woman. What does this mean? I met my husband during my sophomore year of college. I was instantly attracted to him, gentle and considerate, and wished to date him. I thought he would surely give me a sense of security. That belief was correct, and I never felt insecure while dating him. There was no sign of other women, and he never got mad at me for looking at his phone. He left his phone unlocked so I could always check it, which gave me peace of mind. After graduating, we worked at the same company. That way, I thought, I wouldn't lose him to someone else. And then, marriage. To become a homemaker after marriage. To live every day just for him. That was my dream. He fulfilled that dream for me, my prince. Even my parents approved of him, saying he was a reliable man. If I had to point out a minor complaint, it would be his dedication to work. After finishing his own work, he'd help his colleagues. That's why he always came home late, and I sometimes dozed off waiting for him. When he got home and checked the time, it was often past midnight. "Hey, if you work this late every day, aren't you going to collapse one of these days? It's better to push yourself while you're young. Besides, if someone's in trouble, I have to help, right?" He said kindly and smiled. "But the dinner I made." "I'm sorry. If I'm not back by 8, feel free to eat and go to bed without me. But even though you're working so hard. Kelly, you're so kind. But it'd hurt me more if you fell ill." I had believed every word my husband said. Even on weekends, he was always at home. He hardly ever went on business trips. So, why did it come to this? No matter how much I think about it, I can't understand. Tears just keep flowing. I was betrayed even though I trusted him. I thought we'd always be happy together, but it was all a lie. My crumbling happiness shattered me. I checked my phone over and over again. No calls. Isn't he coming home today? I messaged him numerous times and called him. But all I got back was a cold, mechanical voice saying the power was off.
Why won't you answer? Why is your phone off? Whose child is it?
I went through our memories, looking at photos stored on my phone. There was the face of my gentle husband. When we went on trips together. When we had meals together. When we walked in the park. College groups. Birthdays, wedding anniversaries, our first date.
Why do I have to go through this? John! Where are you? Which hospital? I want to go too. I want to be by your side. Why won't you come home?
I shouted for my husband, but in the empty house. My voice was absorbed by the furniture. Before I knew it, I fell asleep, and when I looked at the clock, it was past 8 in the morning. He didn't come home after all. I believe he'll come home today. But I'm filled with nothing but anxiety. What if he doesn't come back? What should I do? Time just idly passes by without me doing anything. It got dark outside, and I was still waiting for my husband who didn't come home. Late into the night, I was utterly exhausted. He didn't come back. Maybe he never will. Surely, it's because of his mistress. Surely, he chose another woman over me. Unforgivable. It's unforgivable to betray me. I'm supposed to be his wife. As it started to get light outside again, my heart had undergone a significant change.
This is a betrayal. I'm his wife, and yet, to betray me like this is unforgivable. And to think he's having a child? And on top of that, with no communication whatsoever, how much more can he belittle me? I can't let this slide. I'll never forgive him. And the woman, she's going down with him.
In the kitchen, I held a knife, chopping up lots of vegetables. And then, as night fell, the table was laden with many dishes. They steamed, emitting appetizing smells. At that moment, my husband came home. I greeted him with a blank expression. He must have been expecting to be yelled at, to be cried on. I'm home.
Did you have dinner? Or did you eat out?
No.
Then, let's eat.
It's just ready. Looking at the delicious food, my husband was frozen. I wonder what he was thinking.
What's wrong? Don't worry, there's no poison in it.
Yeah. Of course, I wouldn't do such a thing. If I poisoned you and something happened, I'd be caught. I wouldn't take such a risk. But I'll make sure you suffer more, so look forward to it. I whispered in my heart and started eating. There was no conversation. We just ate in silence. I can imagine how painful this silence is for you because you hate not talking. After he had a little to eat, my husband said, "Oh, that was delicious, thank you," and got up from the table. As if I'd let him get away. I'm still eating.
Why are you standing up? It was our promise not to leave the table until we both finished eating. Yes, that's right. Sorry.
Time felt as uncomfortable as sitting on a bed of needles. My husband sat restlessly in his seat. It was a full hour later when I finally finished my meal.
Well, then, I'll be going. Oh no, the main event hasn't even started yet. You have to sit down, I need you here. The main event? You said when you left, I'll explain everything when I get back. Yeah!
Can you explain it to me?
I've been waiting an insane amount of time just to hear this explanation. Yeah!
My husband was silent and looked down, but when he finally spoke, his head was bowed so low I thought he might hit it on the table.
I'm so sorry.
For what?
It was news of a birth.
A cat? Or maybe a dog?
No. It's my girlfriend's. But it's not serious. It's not like we're seriously together.
Not serious, you say. So, the child she gave birth to isn't yours?
No. It's my child.
What do you mean? Can you explain it clearly?
Well, I've been seeing someone.
An affair? Yeah, basically. An affair, right?
Yes, that's right.
And?
She got pregnant and said she'd contact me when it was time for the baby to be born. That's when I got the call.
I see. I took a deep breath because otherwise, I felt like I would suffocate. Was the baby born?
Yes. It's a boy.
I couldn't help but slam my fist on the table, making a loud noise that made him stiffen. Oh, I'm sorry. I just couldn't help my anger. So, who is this woman?
Who? Someone I met when I went out drinking.
How long have you been together?
Over a year now.
So, she got pregnant right after you started seeing each other?
Yeah, it happened quickly. No, I thought it was a mistake. But she wanted to keep the baby no matter what, so I reluctantly agreed.
While telling me we could take our time having children, you went and made a child with another woman?
It was a mistake, really.
So, you've been betraying me for over a year? Playing the part of a good husband. Pretending to be the loving husband. I'm sorry. You say that, but you don't mean it. If you really felt sorry, you wouldn't have rushed off like that. No, I heard about the birth. The child is innocent, after all. That's right. The one at fault is you.
Yeah, that's true. So, I want to make it up to Kelly from now on. Can you forgive me?
Oh, not to her, but to me? Because she has a child.
No, I'll just acknowledge the child, but I want to be with Kelly.
How convenient for you. As if that's something I could forgive. It's okay. You don't have to hold back. After being betrayed, there's no way I can forgive you. With that, I pulled out a divorce paper from the drawer and placed it on the table. Let's get a divorce.
What? Why?
Because I can't be with someone who's betrayed me. I've been thinking about why this happened over the last 2 days. What did I do wrong?
Kelly did nothing wrong. You're not at fault at all.
If I'm not at fault, then why did this happen? If your feelings turn to another woman, it means I did something wrong, right? That's why we should get a divorce. Then, you can marry her and the child can live with their father.
That's not it. I don't want a divorce. I don't want to leave Kelly.
I want to leave. Because I can't forgive you.
But, we loved each other, didn't we?
Yes, we did. In the past tense. And yet, why did this happen? I wonder. How old is she, and what does she do? 24. She works at a cafe. I see. So, she's working too.
Huh.
It must be tough with a small child. Not my problem, though.
Kelly, please. Don't talk about breaking up.
It's impossible. You know, it's amazing how quickly human emotions can change. At first, I couldn't understand why you left. I couldn't stop my tears when morning came and you hadn't returned. But by night, I had resigned myself to the fact that you probably wouldn't come back. By the next morning, I was filled with hatred for being betrayed. And then, resentment started to bubble up, making me realize I can't forgive you. That's why divorce is the best option. Before I grow to hate you so much that I might actually poison you.
What?
You don't want to be killed, do you?
Of course I don't. But I'm sure we can make it work again. I love you, Kelly.
That's not it. What you love is me being the daughter of the CEO. You're worried about what will happen to your position in the company if we split up, aren't you? If nothing had happened, you could have eventually become the CEO. But now, you're worried about even keeping your job. That must be tough.
No, it's not like that.
It's not? Then you'd be fine with divorcing and being jobless, right? Sign it.
I don't want to leave you, Kelly. That's all.
If that was all, why did you cheat?
I'm sorry.
Look, I'm trying not to get angry. There's only so much I can take. Yeah, sorry. So, sign it.
I don't want a divorce.
Crying, my husband still signed the papers and left the house. If you think it's over, you're sorely mistaken. I'll never forgive you. As I watched his back, I swore revenge. About half a month after he left, I got a call from him.
Kelly, help me.
John and I are divorced. We're not that close anymore.
Sorry. Kelly, please help me.
It's strange for you to ask me for help. Why don't you ask your wife? After all, I'm the CEO's daughter. I have no hand to lend to a regular employee like you, John.
I'm asking because you're the CEO's daughter.
Oh, what is it? I knew what he wanted without asking. A few days earlier, my father had mentioned there would be some personnel changes. John was probably calling about that. There's been a personnel change. Oh, a promotion for you? Far from it. I've been assigned to the mole department. The mole department, officially known as the records room, is so named because it's located on the second basement floor. The assignment there means endless organizing of documents, and once placed there, it's said you'll never see the light of day again. The company, unable to easily fire employees due to union presence, sends troublesome workers there to wait for them to resign. No one wants to work their life away in a basement on reduced pay. That's where John had been sent. If I'm stuck there, my life is over. I can't ever hope to advance again. I suppose so. Is this because I cheated? Is that why I was sent to the mole department? Well, I did tell my father about your affair, the child you fathered outside, and our divorce. I also told him how angry I was. He said with the divorce, you've lost any chance of becoming CEO. Not just the CEO chair, but any chance at promotion is gone. This is too harsh. As much as you say that, I didn't decide it. Weren't you making mistakes long before we divorced? You were just never called out on it because you were my husband.
Is that so?
Who knows?
Look, Kelly, please. I'm sorry. Help me. Speaking to the CEO won't do anything. Being in the mole department means a dark future. Please, at least get me moved to a brighter department, not the records room.
As much as you say that, there's nothing I can do. Even if I am the CEO's daughter, I have no say in personnel matters. It's the company's decision.
That might be true, but it's really tough. Even my wife is saying horrible things to me.
Oh dear, what is she saying? After all, you two loved each other enough to steal someone's husband.
Well,
John then vividly described the conversations between him and his wife.
Why is your salary so low now? You used to earn more, didn't you? And now, why has it dropped so much? That's because you're not spending it on another woman, are you? You're not thinking of getting involved with another woman, are you? It's not like that. Being assigned to the mole department just comes with this territory. I don't care if it's moles or worms. You used to make more money before. Why has it decreased so much now? Isn't this an unfair pay cut? You should be angry. You should complain to the company. No, I can't say that. The affair and the divorce are the reasons. Are you saying it's my fault? I'm not saying that. So, it's your fault then? We have a child, and yet, you let us fall into this situation. How irresponsible can you get? I never thought you were such an incapable man. It can't be helped. What do you mean it can't be helped? We have a child? How do you expect to get by on such a low salary with a child? It's impossible. If you can't speak up at work, why don't you ask that Kelly woman for help? Surely, she's the one who pulled strings with her father anyway. That's how I'm blamed, day and night. Work is hard enough, but this is crushing my spirit.
It only seems like it for you. People who truly break down can't even think about how hard their situation is. Maybe. But it's really hard. If she didn't blame me, I think it'd be a lot different. It's just organizing files at work. If you think about it, it could be considered easy work. But my wife. Who chose that wife? Nobody but you, right? That's true, but I never expected it to go this far. That's not my problem. You sowed the seeds yourself, didn't you? The day she called about going into labor and you left me to go to her, you chose her over me. Don't come crying to me now. Yeah, sorry. But I did say it, didn't I? That it wasn't serious. That the only one I truly love is Kelly. So what? Don't rehash the same story over and over. You're the one who cheated. And during the time you were gone, I suffered as if it were 100 years. That's why I divorced you. Because you chose her. If you had chosen me at that time, maybe life would have been different. I'm truly sorry. If you want me to apologize, I'll do it as many times as needed. Please, help me. No matter how much you apologize, it won't heal my heart. Don't contact me anymore. Also, I haven't calmed down yet, so I've decided to claim alimony. Alimony! Yes, you better prepare yourself. Being in my position, if you betray someone of my stature, it won't be cheap. I can't afford it on top of the pay cut. Whether you can afford it or not, that's your problem. If you do something wrong, you should properly atone for it, right? Even if you got caught in them, she was the one who seduced you. So, she needs to take responsibility for that. I think you will owe more than $200,000. That much? For someone in my position, it's actually quite reasonable. And still, it won't suffice to settle my feelings. What a mess! Oh, Mr. Mole John. Coming out into the light, aren't you worried your eyes might get damaged? Moles are inconvenient, aren't they? Yes, they are. Not fighting back? How dull. What's the point in arguing when I know I can't win? Very well. For being so humble, I'll listen to you. What is it? Yes, my wife left me. Weren't you married? Yes, we hadn't got married yet. Why not? You had a child together, why didn't you get married? She said she wanted to think about it some more. She said a man who's been assigned to the mole department can't be relied upon. What? Because the husband is a mole, that's a no-go? So, would a worm have been better? Whether it's a mole or a worm, it's all the same. Being assigned to such a place, it's too embarrassing to tell friends. The salary is too low, and we can't make ends meet unless we both work. She's reconsidering marriage with someone like that. It turns out the person I left Kelly for and wanted to marry is an absolute nightmare. Wait a minute. You were going to marry her even if it meant leaving me? Yeah. But that's not right, is it? I was the one who said we should split up. You were the one saying you didn't want a divorce. Does that detail really matter? I think it's pretty important. The most important thing is, it ended up with me leaving you and planning to marry her. I really didn't want to leave you, Kelly. Listening to John's reasoning, something didn't sit right with me. I couldn't put my finger on what exactly. It sounded like he was trying to paint himself in a good light, as if he did nothing wrong. But no matter how I thought about it, the affair was his decision, and so was having a child. He might say it was a mistake, but it seems like it was a consequence he wanted. Because of that, I wasted 2 precious years. I could have been a mother by now. So, she left. The child? She took him with her. That was a relief. It would have been a disaster if she left the child behind. Really? Could those words really come from the considerate and kind John the First knew? The one who would squint at passing children and remark, "Kids are so cute"? You think it's a hassle? Yeah, of course. Coming home from work to a crying child is the last thing I want. Plus, if there was a child, I couldn't buy anything I wanted. You wouldn't understand, Kelly, since you don't have kids. Even though it was for a short time, I realized having kids is tough. But having a child brings so much joy,
doesn't it? Just seeing their face should be enough. Everyone with kids says so. I hate it. That's why I never wanted kids.
Was that the reason? He didn't want kids with me, so he never had them? Does that mean the child with his mistress was also an accident?
Well, she took them, so that's good. Really?
I was surprised by his response, my voice cracking.
She was apparently furious about the alimony from you, Kelly.
What?
Yeah, she was also mad about your alimony. Said it was too much.
Is that so? Was John always like this? Perhaps his time in the mole department really did affect his mental state. If that's the case, maybe I should seriously consider rescuing him.
But still, if it were you, Kelly, things wouldn't have ended up like this.
Really?
Yeah, because we were doing so well together. We trusted and loved each other. You felt happy being with me, right?
Yes, that's true.
So, the fact that you were filled with hatred when I didn't come back means you loved me that much, right?
Yes, that's right.
And yet, what have I done? I really didn't want to split up. You wouldn't listen to anything I said back then. It was tough. I thought your feelings would settle down eventually, but they never did. It wasn't as simple as you think. Do you still hate me?
Not hate, but...
Then let's start over.
Excuse me?
I still want to be with you, Kelly. It has to be you. I can't settle down with anyone else. This whole ordeal made me realize you're my soulmate.
I'm sorry, but I don't think you're my soulmate.
That can't be true. There's no one else for me but you. We should give it another try.
No, that's not going to happen.
Is it really over? Can't we go back to how we were? I truly regret everything.
I could hear John's voice crack with tears. He was always a bit tearful, but thinking he cared about me this much made my heart ache.
I've realized how important you are to me since we split up. I want to make things right. If we got back together, I'd never cheat again and cherish you for life. They say the third time's the charm, right? Please, don't give up on us over one mistake.
Huh. As John spoke tearfully, my heart was moved, thinking it might be wrong to abandon him over a single mistake. However, something nagging at the back of my mind prevented me from speaking up. That's when it happened. I heard a sigh on the other end of the phone, followed by John's mutter.
Damn it. Excuse me? I had caught a CEO's daughter, a real cash cow, but messed it up because that woman got pregnant.
What? Anger bubbled up inside me. In the next moment, my anger reached its peak, and I blurted out, "Stay underground for life." After that, John was demanded child support by his ex-lover who had left. Despite his complaints about being unable to pay since she left on her own, she had returned to her parents' home and sought legal help with their support. Consequently, John, with no legal knowledge, lost the case and was ordered to pay child support. This, added to the substantial compensation demanded by me, left him in a dire financial situation. To make ends meet, he took on night jobs in addition to his daytime work and even worked on holidays, exhausting himself. Moreover, he moved into a cheaper place known for being problematic due to his fearfulness, where he spends his days in fear. Recently, I heard he's been muttering to walls, and his colleagues and bosses have suggested he seek medical help. But he insists he can't afford it, and his condition seems to be worsening. Meanwhile, I've returned to living with my parents, enjoying my single life. Having been burned by marriage once, I'm not keen on trying again, but as a CEO's daughter, I attract plenty of suitors and am enjoying dating today.